Time for game number 100 in the history of the franchise of the Indiana Lions, and it is a good crowd on hand here today inside of Bosstick Gynasium in downtown Danville as we get set for ABA basketball action between the Illinois Skulls and your Indiana Lions. Alongside Antoine Wynn, I'm Kurt Darling. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on the ISC Sports Network. Coach, good to be with you once again. First off, good to see you after the holiday break. This is the first home game that the Lions have had since their holiday break, the last game back on December 17th.
Thank you for having me here. I'm glad to be back here. Last time I was here was maybe 3 weeks ago, looking for an up-tempo, fast-type basketball game.
Indeed we are. As we take a look at the starting lineups here tonight, let's go with the Indiana Lions here, going with a different starting lineup than what we usually see here this evening, as we'll see Alex Brown, who is certainly one of the main characters you see dancing there with Mike Pugh, who is usually a starter, but he will be coming off the bench tonight. You'll also have Dylan Ware going off, as well as Jordan Heidelberg, T. Williams, and Phil Bosstick. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the starters for the Illinois Skulls. Again, this is a franchise that is in their first year of competition here in the American Basketball Association. They are 0-5 coming into tonight. Darian Bean, as well as Slim Johnson, Damon Little, as well as Jamal Gray and Devontae Thomas. So, Coach, as you took a look at the starting lineups for both of these teams, obviously the Indiana Lions going with a little bit of different strategy, kind of playing the long game on the season here tonight.
Yes, they are. They have a basketball game tomorrow in Cincinnati tomorrow. And so they're reserving their players, their top players tomorrow for a big game tomorrow. No slight against the Illinois team, but they're resting their players for a back-to-back game.
Of course, that will be against the Ohio Kings. That will be their third game against the Kings, and actually that will be their second road game again in Ohio in as many weeks. Of course, they started off this season, this back half of the season since the holiday break, 1-1. They are splitting the difference between Burning River Buckets, a loss of 115 to 108 in that one, before coming back and getting a win on the road just the very next night against the Ohio Bruins. So, Antoine Wynn, your keys to the game here for the Lions to be successful here tonight.
Well, the Lions have to come out strong. Last few games have had slow starts, so they have to come out and impose their will against Illinois.
So it'll be Alex Brown going up against Slim Johnson here at center court, and it is controlled by Illinois. And we're underway here for 4 quarters of ABA basketball action. And of course, we'll go over the unique rules of this particular brand of basketball as the game goes on. And already, Indiana pressing the issue on the defensive end, but a big offensive rebound into the hands of Little, and he'll check it back outside. And now we have a shot clock violation on the very first possession here of this contest.
That should never happen when you have the shot clocks above the basket.
And of course, another particular feature we would like to show you on our graphics, we get the shot clock on the bottom bar right there, something we don't usually have here. Our crew at the ISC Sports Network doing their best to always innovate, and they do an excellent job at it as well. Here's a turnover by the Lions on their very first possession, but there is a swat out of bounds there by Phil Bosstick.
One thing about the Lions, they cannot be complacent tonight playing a less talented team in Illinois.
So Bosstick getting the first block of the game here, but so far the Lions not exactly in a rhythm offensively at the moment, but they are certainly being stingy on the defensive end.
Yes, they are.
Inside goes Bean, and he kicks it back outside to Johnson. And another shot clock violation. So Illinois certainly not being very aware of where they are on the court as well as on the clock.
I've been watching basketball a long time. I've never seen, at the start of a basketball game, 2 shot clock violations. That's unheard of.
Still goose eggs on the scoreboard here for the first minute. Here's Bosstick loading up a long 3, and that rattles in and out. Again, Bosstick not someone who normally shoots the 3 ball. He is a utility player either inside or out.
That's great defense by Dylan Ware.
And there is a backcourt violation. Now in the ABA, you have 7 seconds to get across the timeline. So 3 straight turnovers here by the Skulls in the early going.
And the red light's on.
And the red light is on. In fact, they have a 3D rule. That is a 3-point basket right there by Dylan Ware. Got so caught up in the turnovers, I didn't even see the red light come on. Back the other way. Shot doesn't go there for Bean. Rebound comes into the hands of the Lions. Up the court, Heidelberg, uncontested, puts that off the glass.
Great outlet pass and great finish by Heidelberg.
And now a whistle in transition. And we're going to get our first foul of the ball game. Going to be against the Illinois Skulls. It's an offensive foul going to be against Jamal Gray, his first.
We have a timeout.
And there's one of our officials for tonight's game. That's Tracy Harris, who is the crew chief here tonight, and a timeout on the court as both teams try to regroup here going into this one. So while we have a moment, tonight's game brought to you by Priority Tax Services, where you're our tax professionals. Maximize your refund with priority taxes and receive up to $6,000 cash advance today, and also taxes on the go. We'll be ensuring that you have your maximum refund for less. For more information, give an email to dbrown@prioritytaxservices.org or give them a call at 317-500-1490. Well, so far here, Antoine, a quick start here for the Lions, though, just kind of shaking things up with the lineup, and so far the Skulls have not been able to get any kind of rhythm.
Well, it starts in the defensive end, and their defense is very intense, as you can see.
Back the other way, Heidelberg. This time it's blocked off the glass. That is not goaltending, and we play on. Here's Devontae Thomas into the corner. Three on the way from Gray, and that rattles in and out. Offensive rebound down to Thomas, and he's going to walk down in the paint.
That was a great call by longtime official Tracy Harris.
So that was a 30-second timeout taken by the Illinois Skulls there as we take a look at this play again. Just one too many steps, and good defense there by Bosstick down low.
I'd like to see them establish something with Alex Brown. He has a size differential.
Heidelberg unloads from three, and it's true.
Great shot.
5 quick points there for Heidelberg.
As you can see, their intensity on defense is tremendous.
Shot doesn't fall off the bank there from Bean. Pushing ahead now goes to Williams. Outside, Bosstick down the left side, and he gets the and one.
Nice. It's a nice finish. As you can see, they're playing up-tempo style basketball with a 10-0 lead right now.
An excellent start here for the Indiana Lions. Again, trying to get back above 500 on the season as Bosstick gets that one to fall.
This is probably one of the best starts I've seen him have all season long.
And of course, this is without Gerald Campbell in the lineup tonight. As you say, the glue of this team all season long. He is out resting up for tomorrow's game, as you see the SWAT master himself, Alex Brown, get his hand on that one.
Yes, Gerald is definitely the glue of this basketball team, and he is sorely missed, but they got to pick it up without him.
Of course, team owner Tyrone Brown telling us that he's dealing with some knee issues, so they'll rest him up for an important game tomorrow against the Ohio Kings. Loose ball, going to be recouped here, and another 24 seconds for the Skulls.
Wow, that's a deep three.
And a long ball doesn't go there for Johnson.
That was Steph Curry range.
So we've gone 3 minutes, 30 seconds and some change. And the Skulls still have a glaring 0 on their side of the board. Right down the lane, throwing it up. Doesn't fall there for T. Williams, but he'll go to the line.
As I mentioned, they should go down low to Alex Brown and also feature Dylan Ware, because again, the Lions have a tremendous size differential from Illinois.
Of course, that's something that they've really tried to improve on as the season goes on. Of course, with a guy like a Gerald Campbell playing all 5 positions, that is one thing that it seems that they've really kind of struggled to really get a lot of rhythm with down low.
Yes, but you have to be patient, and you have to trust your teammate. And you have to play through certain players.
Of course, Alex Brown had an excellent game in their last home game back on December 17th. If I recall, he had 4 blocks in that ball game, which were essential in that big win.
And he had a double-double as well. The defense is, oh man, it's
another steal. Down low, off the glass, alley-oop to Alex Brown. What a play on the assist from T. Williams.
That was nice. You can see that play being set up.
And the 3 ball finally falls,
yes.
and that is the first bucket here for the Illinois Skulls. Give that one to Slim Johnson. Into the corner, Bosstick tries to answer with a 3 of his own, and he gets it to fall. The Lions are putting on a show here for this crowd here today.
Yes, they are. They're coming out with a vengeance.
Again, the Lions, they started off the season, and now we have got the officials coming out here. Looks like we've got a timeout, going to be a full timeout, going to be taken here by the Illinois Skulls. We'll go ahead and take a timeout with them. 18-3, the Lions on top of the Skulls here on the ISC Sports Network.
This week's pregame show is brought to you by
3, 2, 1.
Has the first dunk in the building from Aaron Zoya. Waits, Waddell finishes. And lays it in. There is right now the play of the game. Better finish. Good. We might see that on plays of the week. Great feed. The finish. Spin, win, 3, bury it in the lane. No, gun, yes. Stop. Whoa, what a play. Flying in.
3D rule in effect here as we take a look at the replay of this massive dunk right there by Alex Brown off the assist from T. Williams.
Perfect alley-oop.
So the 3D rule in effect here right now, so every basket will be worth 1 more point than it usually is, and Dylan Ware capitalizes on a 3-point dunk.
That's the second 3-point play.
That is his second 3D rule dunk. That gives him 6 points. Dak the other way, and Devontae Thomas hits the deck hard. We're going to get the first foul of the ball game here on the Lions. Looks like that'll be against Phil Bosstick. That'll be his first and the team's first.
This is the way the Lions need to play. Aggressive like this every game.
Devontae Thomas going right in on Ware. Can't quite finish. Loose ball. Thomas comes away with it. And a step back 3 on the way. Doesn't go for Damon Little. Trying again this time from deep is Bean. And nothing doing there either. And Dylan Ware steps on the baseline going for that rebound. So that's a turnover. And it'll stay here with the Skulls.
What the Lions are doing to Illinois is they're making Illinois play faster than what they want to play and making it difficult to get clean shots off.
So this is an excellent start here for the Lions. It's definitely just a good momentum booster considering the fact that the Lions started the season winning only 1 of their first 5 games, but they have since won 4 of their last 5. So they are now 5-5 on the year, and so they can just keep the momentum going here as they get ready for a big game tomorrow against Ohio.
As a team, as a coach, you like to see your team get greater later. You want your team to peak as the season goes. You don't want them to peak in the beginning. So they're in a good place right now. 3D
rule in effect here for the Skulls, and they take advantage with a 4-point basket right there. That is nice. Darian Bean.
Nice shot.
Down the middle. Ware can't finish, but he'll draw the foul. Certainly no lack of entertainment here in this ball game right out of the gate.
Yeah, they're going hard.
Take a look at that replay here, and that was actually Slim Johnson.
Yes, number 6.
With the 4-point bucket right there from behind the arc.
Dylan Ware for 2.
So Dylan Ware here, and of course this is something that we talked with Tyrone Brown here before the game here, is the fact that Ware has really had a hard time with his free throw shooting, but it has slowly been improving over the last few games.
Yeah, Tyrone indicated that he is more mental for Mr. Dylan Ware, and he has to get through that, and he's getting better as the season progresses.
Of course, he's certainly good on the floor, though. He put up 29 points against the Music City Jazz in their last home game back in December.
Yes.
Ware goes 1 of 2. He has 7 points. Quick up the floor. Here comes Little. Looking inside here. Shot on the way, doesn't fall. Here's Jones along the baseline. And he can't convert. And here comes Mike Pugh. course, we talked with him before the game. He was promising some fireworks.
Yes,
Better late than never.
Yeah, we had a good conversation with Mike Pugh. Mike Pugh played at Mississippi Valley State. Went to the Big Dance in 2012 at Mississippi Valley State.
No look pass here to Pugh along the baseline. Leaves it for Ware. Dunk number 3 on a 3D rule. 27-7.
Off the vertical.
Down the lane again come the Skulls.
Again, the Lions cannot take Illinois lightly. Because if you give a team confidence, that can spell trouble for you.
Here's Kendrick Lee into the ball game for the first time tonight. Down underneath to Messer. He steps back, and the jumper doesn't go.
That was a nice curl move there.
And now another foul in transition here. This will be on the floor, and Dylan Ware picking up his first.
See, as a coach, you hate to see a foul like that 60 feet from the basket. So you have to move your feet, and you have to be disciplined when you're out there playing defense.
But, of course, better those fouls happen when you're up by 18 points rather than in a more meaningful game than what you might see.
Absolutely. But you have to stay disciplined. Move your feet right there. Good.
Offensive foul there by Darian Bean. Slight shoulder tap into the chest. And selling it very well right there was...
That's Mike Carter.
Is Mike Carter getting into the ball game.
Yeah. He was very disciplined.
Carter up top. Gets into the lane and a nice true hook shot off the glass.
Nice move by Carter.
Of course, Mike Carter, one of the players that has played some sparing minutes this season. Of course, when talking to owner Tyrone Brown, as there's a nice finger roll in there by Bean, but we were definitely going to be seeing a lot more minutes from the reserves here in this ball game.
Yes, he indicated that. Nice.
Bounce pass inside, and Messer converts. Lots of dimes being dropped here. That's the 7th different player for the Lions to score here in this ball game.
When you move without the basketball, good things happen. You cannot stay stationary.
Good defense by Kendrick Lee. He forces a turnover. Here comes Carter, full head of steam, and he checks up outside. Messer for 3.
Nice 3 by Messer.
34 points in this first quarter, and I would say that is a new season high in points in the first quarter here for the Lions.
Yes. They're playing very loose, and they're playing with one another.
Carter along the baseline. And he gives it up top. And going to be a traveling violation there on Scooty Walker.
One thing I have noticed with the Lions thus far, they're very aggressive going to the basket now. They're not settling for outside shots. That's always good.
Full timeout taken. We'll take one with them. 34-13. The Lions handling the Skulls here on the ISC Sports Network.
Please welcome one of our newest sponsors, City Barbecue. City Barbecue is out in Avon. They offer so many things like sides, ribs, sandwiches, desserts, and they have so many things that are made every day for you to come in and try them. He has so many good things that are freshly made. So if you're looking for a place where you and the family can go and have a good little dinner after the game, if you don't feel like cooking, come on down to City Barbecue and tell them the Indiana Lions sent you and just try everything. Try everything on the menu. Just start from the top to the bottom and just let them know what you feel about it. Give them a nice review, like them on Facebook. And if you never tried it, you got to get there soon. Thanks, City Barbecue, for everything. They have drinks, guys. Remember, you can go in and get drinks, and they even have curbside assistance. So if you order it, you don't even have to go in. You could just send someone in to get the food, or you can go in and get it yourself. So stop on by again at City Barbecue. Thanks for being a sponsor.
Let's take a look at this big pass right here by Eric Messer inside there on the assist. And outside again, Messer just having a really good last couple of minutes here as he puts the Lions up 21 points. Here with 3:38 left to go in the first.
Mike Carter's come in and give you 2 quick assists.
Tonight's game brought to you by Deca Lash, where we offer the following lash extension styles: True Express, Classic, Hybrid, True Volume, or Mega Volume. If you want to find out more, visit us at 2685 East Main Street at Suite 108 in Plainfield. Or you can call to book an appointment at 317-667-0681. And there you see head coach Jamar Kegler, of course, getting a lot of help there from Tyrone Brown. Of course, that's another thing we talked to Tyrone earlier, is just he's kind of been taking more of an active role in coaching while also making sure that Jamar Kegler can learn as a head coach.
Yes, he's kind of mentoring the head coach now. He's been here a long time. He knows the players, and so he's keeping his hand around the team to keep the team together. He's doing a great job.
Of course, there's Tyrone Brown, the owner, coach, floor sweeper, promoter extraordinaire. He does it all for this Indiana Lions basketball club. So we resume play here out of the timeout. And an easy shot doesn't fall there for the Illinois Skulls. And a steal in transition. And Bean still can't get it to go. And nothing going on the subsequent shot there by Damon Little as well. Trying again, this time he makes it go.
It's a nice layup.
That's 4 points now for Darian Bean. Approaching the 3-minute mark here, and again going to the bench. Again here on the Lions as Mike Pugh gets in there again, but also we see Lawan Whitney into the ball game for the first time here for Indiana.
Yeah, Mike Pugh says he's going to get involved, and he's getting involved thus far.
And almost a turnover forced there by the Lions. It'll stay here with Illinois Skulls. Let's take a look at the replay again on this one.
Nice finish by Mike Pugh.
Again, we talked about Mike Pugh's college accolades. He also played professionally overseas in a few countries as well, such as Mongolia and even in Peru as well, before coming back here. In fact, he is the elder statesman of this Illinois, or rather this Indiana squad. He's been here all 5 seasons of the franchise.
Yes, he has.
Still a comfortable lead here for Indiana.
Wow,
but there's a big shot there from Slim Johnson.
Wow.
In fact, all of his shots have come from behind the arc. He has 10 points.
Nice.
Nice give and go, but
yes.
Kendrick Lee can't finish it. Pushing it ahead and another turnover in transition. This will trigger a 3D rule.
Yes, the light's not on yet. It should be on.
And now they're going to make sure that it is on. So they're going to, well, now it looks like they may revisit that here as we take a look at some of the faithful here inside of Bosstick Gym. And so they're going to take the ball out here. Looks like it was a turnover here by Illinois Skulls, so that negates the 3D rule, and we play on here.
Yeah, we had spoke about the Lions playing a lot of reserves today. When you play reserves like this and they play extensive minutes like this, this gives your team confidence. So when it's time for them to play during tough times, they're equipped to do so.
Especially since they got a pretty good schedule coming up here as well. Of course, you got Ohio Kings tomorrow, but actually that will be triggering for the next 5 games. You are on the road for 4 of your next 5.
Yes, and your reserves are key component to your team.
In fact, the Lions will not be back home inside of Bosstick Gym until February 11th after this game.
Nice.
Right down the lane. Nice take there by Mike Carter, and he gets the end one.
Mike Carter is really playing tremendous basketball. He always plays hard, but he's very efficient today offensively.
Take a look at the replay here. A nice dish inside as well by Lawan Whitney, who's also coming into his own here, getting a few more minutes after not playing a whole lot in the first half of the season.
Everybody is being very aggressive going to the basket today.
And so Carter doinks that one off the front of the iron. Here come the Skulls again, and that's going to be a trip in transition there. Looks like that's going to be on Whitney. And that was a hard take to the floor there as we get an injured player here for Illinois.
That's number 20, Byron Jones, for the Skulls. That's down.
So Jones
looks
like he's going to be okay. But that was certainly a hard spill that he took there.
And he's very quick as well.
And that was actually Scooty Walker getting the inadvertent foot there in the way there of Jones. So this will put the inbound here for Illinois with 1:30 and some change here left in the first quarter.
Did you see Mr. Tyrone Brown go out there and sweep the floor?
Of course, again, as I mentioned, he's owner, floor sweeper, coach, promoter extraordinaire.
He does it all. My hat goes off to him. That's a nice
Back
pass
inside, and there's a nice take by Jones off the subsequent injury. So he doesn't seem to be feeling it too much right there. That's his first bucket. Back the other way. And Kendrick Lee, he unloads from the wing.
That's a nice shot.
That's now 9 different players for Indiana to score here today.
If you look at the Lions, they're going with a small lineup.
And Jones makes Mike Pugh take a spill, and a long pass off the glass, nothing there, but a putback there by Lawan Whitney.
Yeah, they're going with a small lineup.
And now, was there a whistle or no whistle? What's going on here? It looked like there was no whistle, looked like there was a timeout. Couldn't quite tell what was going on right there, as you see Tracy Harris, the lead official here tonight, trying to direct some traffic. So it looks like that bucket there off the steal from Scooty Walker isn't going to count, as we get a look here at that putback here by. And there we go. And so, yeah, let's see what we got here. So it looked like there was a whistle, looked like there wasn't a whistle, and Scooty Walker, again, playing hard right there.
He's doing what he's supposed to do.
And
he played till you hear a whistle.
And there's Tracy Harris and his crew just indicating whether or not they called a timeout. That's going to be the third timeout taken here by Illinois here in this first half. Of course, timeouts reset at the half, so you can take as many timeouts as you are allotted here in this first half. But still, needless to say, that's a lot of timeouts here in the first half, in this first quarter rather, here taken by the Skulls. So again, inside here at Bosstick Gymnasium, a good crowd, but also it's amazing what the Illinois Lions have actually, or the Indiana Lions have Illinois, Indiana all over the place. But either way, the Indiana Lions have done here to just kind of refurbish this whole place here inside of Bosstick Gymnasium. They redid the floor, they redid a lot of the backboards as well. In fact, there's also a workout facility beneath this floor here. So talking to Coach Tyrone Brown earlier, is just a matter of what they've really done to just impact there, this whole facility and refurbishing it.
Yes, I'm gonna take a tour once the game is over with at the bottom and see how it looks.
I certainly want to see that as well. Mike Pugh off the steal.
3D.
Outside, 3D rule and a 3D bucket. 4 points there for Kendrick Lee. That gives him 7 points. It is a 50-burger already, and we're not even done with the first quarter.
If the Lions continue to play like this the rest of the season, they're going to be a problem for the rest of the league.
Especially, it's certainly challenging getting off to that slow start that they had, but this is by far the best that we've seen Indiana play all season long.
Yeah, they were out with one of their best players.
That's another reminder, Gerald Campbell is out of the lineup here tonight. Again, probably the only player on this roster who can truly play all 5 positions.
Yes, he can. He is a problem.
In the corner, 3 on the way, doesn't fall there for Scooty Walker, and that will take us to the end of an entertaining first quarter as the Lions on top by 30, 50-20, as we go to quarter number 2 here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hey Lions fans, it's Gio with Indiana Lions, coming to talk about Knockouts haircuts for men out in Avon. They specialize in getting you right on your haircuts, on your linings, your shaves, your face, your touch-ups, whatever it is that you need to get done. They are the best to do it. They make sure they get us right before every game, every photo shoot. They always have us picture ready. And so we just want to give them a shout out for being a sponsor to the Indiana Lions. And Lions family, again, if you need a good haircut or a good trimming, a nice shave, they even wash your hair. That was something I didn't even know of. So just go and check them out and tell them Gio sent you, or James, whichever name you want to use. Just go on down and check out Knockouts Haircuts for Men and let them wow you with the experience there. They even have a cooler with drinks in it.
Already a 30-point game, 50 points put up by the Indiana Lions in that first quarter. We go to quarter number 2 here on the ISC Sports Network alongside Coach Antoine Wynn. I'm Kurt Darling. Coach, needless to say, you can't start any quicker than that for the Lions.
They have a heck of a starting first quarter. Never seen anything like this before. I mean, they're very efficient. They're having fun. and they're playing together. And again, we spoke that Campbell's not even in the lineup, and you have the reserve players. They're filling a great void. And if they keep playing like this, they're going to be a problem throughout the rest of the season.
And just to put it in some perspective here, again, 50 points in a first quarter is truly unheard of in pretty much any form of basketball. You know what the franchise record in a single game for points in a game is here for the Lions? 266 points. That was against the Buchanan Bears back on November 23rd of 2019.
Wow.
According to IndianaLions.com.
Oh, man.
We'll see if they can get close to that here tonight. It's certainly possible as we get going here into quarter number 2 and all the starters back on the floor here for the Lions.
I see Alex Brown's back on the floor again. This Illinois team, they just seem to be playing out of control.
Shot doesn't fall there for the Lions, rather for the Skulls. And the Lions come quick in transition. Heidelberg.
So this is the kind of game that I would like to see Alex Brown impose his will. Alex Brown should be on the block.
Instead, he'll try to do it from deep, and it doesn't fall.
He needs to be on the block. You're a 7-footer playing against guys that are 6'3", 6'4". He needs to be on that block.
Just getting it across the timeline here are the Skulls as Jamal Gray puts it underneath, and it falls.
Yeah, Illinois, they're just too small. They don't have enough pieces.
And again, this is Illinois Skulls' first year in ABA competition.
Right there, see where he is?
And here is exactly what you want to see from Alex Brown.
That's what I was speaking of earlier.
But just kind of bobbled the ball going up to the rim, and it's a turnover.
What I'd like to see him do is take a power dribble and dunk it.
Double team right up against the baseline, through the legs goes Little.
Don't reach, don't reach.
And now a jump ball going to be called, and it'll go back in favor here of Indiana. At least it would appear so. Actually, the possession arrow favoring Illinois Skulls. We can't quite see the possession arrow from where we sit up here on the west side of the gymnasium, but it'll stay here with the Skulls. Long three, just off the mark there from Thomas. And the offensive rebound here to Little. Dumping it off. Thomas can't finish. And
nice
a big
pass.
rebound there by Brown.
He has to finish, though. Oh, nice hesitation.
Heidelberg on the delay. And he'll go to the line.
Heidelberg is cat quick. Watch that hesitation.
Just nice, almost breaking the ankles there of Damon Little.
He froze him in time.
So the foul here on the Skulls puts Heidelberg at the line for the first time here tonight, and he nails his first one.
So you have Dylan Ware and you have Alex Brown in the basketball game. Those two guys have to impose their will on this Illinois team.
Of course, Heidelberg, a local boy, just like his teammate Dylan Ware. He played at Warren Central High School in his high school days.
The team.
And a steal.
Okay.
Ware going by himself. Can't quite finish. There's Bosstick for the offensive
Nice.
putback in the and one.
It's too big and too strong for Illinois.
Keeps on trucking there, does the local Danville man. Coming back the other way is Bosstick.
Yeah, they're too big, too long, too strong, and too athletic for Illinois.
Bosstick, another Hoosier basketball player as well. He hails from Anderson. Or rather, he hails from Cleveland, excuse me, but he played his college ball at Anderson University.
Okay.
Having to get across the timeline here, and there is almost a steal. Instead, it's going to be taken by Little. And a swat out of bounds there, almost there by Brown. And it gets into the hands of Thomas.
That's slim.
Air balls there from Johnson. But still, Illinois able to keep possession of it, but the shot clock expires.
Yeah.
And it'll go back to Indiana.
Illinois is not as talented as the Lions, but they're very scrappy. And they go hard. So I commend them on that. They're a scrappy group.
And it was 50-20 at the change of quarter. Kind of a slower start here in this second quarter for the Lions. But Bosstick looking to pick up the pace, still can't finish, and so it's almost like there's a small little lid here on this side of the floor here for Indiana.
Yes.
Across the timeline. Meandering his way down court is Darian Bean. Nothing doing there.
Got to run with him.
Heidelberg up top,
Nice.
and another oop. Down low to Alex Brown, the second time tonight.
That's nice.
And a timeout taken here by Indiana. Take a look at this again.
Very nice. He waited for him.
First you want Brown down on the block. You
Yes.
got him.
He took a look in his rearview mirror and saw Brown coming.
Full timeout on the court. We'll take one with them. 57-22 here on the ISC Sports Network.
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. Oh! Here's the finish. You get a layup taken and an and one.
I had a love for cookies the whole time, a love for baking actually, growing up, and it had always been a dream of mine. And I got sick and at my old job and had to quit, and then ended up getting a little bit better, was able to get another job, but then COVID hit and lost my job again. And at that point, my kids and my husband were like, you need just do this, you know. So we took a chance.
And out of that, Mama Shell's was born. And I can personally say that I have had the cookies and they are amazing. If you haven't tried them, we offer them at the gym. Thank you, Mama Shell's, for being a sponsor for the Indiana Lions.
Well, the Lions have certainly been living above the rim here tonight, and they are pummeling the Illinois Skulls right now, 57-22. Alongside Antoine Wynn, I'm Kurt Darling. Coach, just what's the biggest takeaway from this great start? Obviously, you have a whole bunch of different players playing here for Indiana, but this is a heck of a way to kick things off, knowing what you might be facing tomorrow night.
What I see is that they're playing with a tremendous amount of energy that I've never seen them play this season. They're having fun out here, and they're pushing the basketball, and they're guarding 94 feet. And they're amping their defense up, and they're just playing hard with each other. So that's basically what I see thus far. But they have to keep it up. Another thing I want to say and speak upon is that I would try to get this up to about 50. Rest my starters, my key players, and get ready for tomorrow.
Turnover behind the back goes Ware, and Heidelberg comes out for a three. That's a little bit too strong. And Illinois going to press it up court.
Wow.
And throwing it right out of bounds there is Devontae Thomas.
He's throwing it to long-term official Ray Beverly.
Heidelberg trying again from deep.
See, I would get it up to about 50 and get my key players out. Get some reserves in.
Block out of bounds there by Alex Brown. That's his second of the ball game. And again, you have Mike Pugh on the court, who's coming off the bench tonight. He's a regular starter.
So they're up by 38. I would get this up to 50. Like I said, that'll be the goal, to get them up to 50.
We also have Bosstick and Dylan Ware as well. Heidelberg squaring off here with Little. Forces him to shoot it, and that is a long bank shot. And Little converts.
That you can do about that.
Here's Ware. Taking a shoulder.
Oh, nice.
Back is Pugh, and he's short.
Oh.
Trying to go behind the back there is Bean, and he coughs it up. Heidelberg just gets it around.
Man, he's
the Skulls defender. Pugh fakes the shot, puts it up, and Brown trying to oop it again. It looked like that was an actual shot from Pugh, and Brown was going up there for a little bit of insurance. But again, you can play above the rim in the ABA. If the ball is on the cylinder, you can touch it and put it in if you have to.
So basically they had the FIBA rules.
It is indeed the FIBA rules. Long ball doesn't fall there for Gray. And Gray gets his own rebound. Thomas runs into his own player and can't convert. And it's a turnover again.
Illinois just looked frustrated. I get it. They're doing the best they can.
And we have a couple substitutions here. Phil Bosstick checking out of the ball game, as we'll see Scooty Walker come back in, as well as Kendrick Lee. And yeah, if we're not mistaken, it looks like there is a hole in the wall on the far side of the gym after that exchange down low, as Brown puts it back in. We'll try and get a shot of that hole that was taken right there behind the wall, as you have some of the cheerleaders as well standing right in front of it. But man, this goes to show you how crazy Illinois is playing down on the other side.
I didn't see the hole.
Let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, that's what caused it right there, as you saw Byron Jones go out of bounds. There it is. Just kind of touching the rear end right there.
Okay.
I guess that's what we call buns of steel.
Yes.
As we see Darian Bean at the line for the first time here today. In fact, this is the first time that any player here for the Skulls has been at the charity stripe. Both shots fall there for Darian Bean. Here come the Lions. Pugh playing post player that time.
Yes, he is.
Back the other way. And the Skulls almost cough it up. Instead, they're going to get a foul here on Indiana.
I can tell Mike Pugh's a little rusty. You know, sometimes it's mental when you're used to starting, when you come off the bench. You know, sometimes it can mess with you mentally.
Of course, when we were talking to him before the game, though, he
Yes.
was certainly understanding and, of course, accepting of his role here today.
Yes.
Of course, again, he's the veteran player here, so he wants to try and get some of the more inexperienced players a lot of meaningful minutes, and you're certainly getting that here today. Here's Dylan Ware, right down the lane. Can't finish, but right there for the putback is Brown.
I've never seen Dylan Ware this aggressive. He's very aggressive.
Again, he had 29 points the last time we were here inside the Bosstick Gymnasium. He's also had excellent performances as well on the road against Burning River and the Ohio Bruins. As the shot doesn't fall there for Illinois. Thomas trying again. Can't go. And Ware comes away with the rebound. Lee nearly double dribbles, and BAM!
Wow.
Dylan Ware! You wanted aggression.
He's giving it to me. I've never seen him be this aggressive. You know, his last few games I've had, he's been very passive.
In fact, that's actually the first shot that he has made tonight that is not from behind the arc.
Yeah.
Or rather, it is behind. Actually, I keep misreading my own scoring sheet because of the 3D rule. He has three 3D rule dunks,
Right.
and now a true dunk that's only worth 2 points. But either way, he is having a heck of a game here.
Yes, he is.
Sometimes the ABA rules even throw the broadcaster. It's certainly entertaining stuff. 66-27, and another steal in transition. Kendrick Lee just going to take it up. Can't get that to go, but he'll go to the line.
I would have liked to see him dump it off to his teammate that was running with him.
He certainly had some help.
Yes. Sometimes you see somebody challenging the shot, kind of look over to your left or to your right, see if you have a teammate coming and pass it off.
So Kendrick Lee, an ABA veteran, of course, starting off his ABA career with the Kentucky Enforcers before coming here to the Indiana Lions. He also played his high school ball just up the road in Brownsboro, the former Bulldog.
All right.
And Lee hits the first foul shot. He now has 8 points. He also had a 3D rule three-pointer. That's worth 4 points here today, earlier in the first quarter.
So the Lions are up by 40. Like I said, the goal should be 50.
Another steal. Instead, they're going to get a kickball. Looks like Mike Pugh getting a little FIFA World Cup going on there, trying to go for the steal.
He was trying to line up his fancy dunk.
Inbound comes to Little. 10 seconds to shoot.
Wow,
And
that's a tough
turnaround
shot.
jumper falls there for Bean.
Tough shot.
And so before we go any further here, Tracy Harris having a few words with his crew here before we keep things going. 5 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. So the scoring has fizzled off here a little bit for both teams. Step back three ball on the way from Pugh.
Pugh had that LeBron James feel right there.
Step back from the top of the key and another turnover here. So they just keep racking up here for Illinois. Of course, I haven't been keeping track of points off turnovers here for Indiana, but if I were to guess here, Coach, I would say more than half of the scoring here for Indiana has come off of turnovers.
Yes, a lot of them are unforced turnovers.
Here's Lawan Whitney from the elbow. A little too strong. Ware comes away with the rebound. Nearly loses it. They're going to get Illinois here for a swat on the wrist.
Got a sub trying to come in.
And it looks like it'll be Eric Messer checking back in here as Dylan Ware will take a seat here. He's put in a heck of an effort.
He's been very productive today.
Lee from deep, and he's short. Now some full court pressure here. Again, this is a
7
time
seconds.
to practice a few different things here. They're close, and they're going to get a 7-second violation, which automatically enforces a 3D rule.
I'm surprised the coach didn't call a timeout because I saw it coming.
If I'm not mistaken, he only has one timeout remaining here, does Coach Dante Faust here for Illinois. Meanwhile, a timeout going to be taken here by Indiana. Here as the 3D light will remain on here during this timeout. We'll take one with them back in a moment here on the ISC Sports Network.
Shot at the buzzer. She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot! Hello! Did it again. Hello! Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello! There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow.
This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
For all of your eyelash and eyebrow care, visit Decalash in Plainfield now and book your appointment today.
Tonight's game brought to you by Priority Tax Services, where you can maximize your refund with Priority Tax Services and receive up to $6,000 cash advance today. They also do taxes on the go, where they'll be ensuring that you get your maximum refund for less. For more information, visit us at thewealthconnect.com/Deborah Brown or give us a call at 317-500-1490. Alongside Antoine Wynn, I'm Kurt Darling. Well, Coach, they're approaching that 50-point threshold, as you mentioned here. Needless to say, we're going to be seeing a lot of reserves here for Indiana from this point on.
Yes, absolutely. Again, I say you want to get up to 50 so you can kind of rest your players, and then you want to also try to run your sets. So you need to start practicing on your game for tomorrow.
Down low to Kendrick Lee as the Lions keep working the ball on offense. Scooty Walker outside to Pugh. He works his way inside, gets the roll to go. That is an and one and a 3D rule. So that is a 3-point bucket, and you get the extra free throw as well.
Is it possibly a 4-point play?
So we get possibly a 4-point play on an old-fashioned style shot. Needless to say, it's an old-fashioned three-pointer in regular basketball. Now you get 4 points possibly.
Yeah, and Pugh is a big physical guard as well.
Again, Pugh had 4 points in the opening quarter, and he misses the and one.
7 seconds. See, they don't have good, well, he's good with the ball.
Getting it across. Into the corner, and it is bounced out of bounds as you see Thomas can't handle it, and he is furious with himself as we get a quick inbound here from Indiana. Right down the lane goes Whitney, and it gets blocked out of bounds. It'll stay here with the Lions.
Well, Illinois, one thing I can say about them, they're trying. They're not giving up. They're not as talented as the Lions, but they're not giving up. They're playing hard.
Of course, I mentioned earlier today that the scoring record in a single game for Indiana is 266 points back in the 2019 season, but the season record this season is 137, which they scored in a win against the Chi-Town Rebels back on December 10th.
Well, they're on pace for that one.
We are certainly on pace for a season high in scoring.
I don't know about the record.
Messer leaves it off now for Pugh. He pulls up from just inside the arc. That is a 2-point bucket.
That was nice.
And Pugh keeping things rolling.
He squared him up and slim.
Another steal. Kendrick Lee bounces it off to Whitney. Extends and converts. And the final timeout of the first half here taken by Illinois.
Wow.
And couldn't quite tell if it is a 30-second timeout here taken by the Illinois Skulls to kind of back things up right here. So while we have a moment, this first half brought to you by BHB Group, which presents the African Experience in Ghana, May 22nd through the 30th of 2023. For more information, visit bhbgroup.org. So there you see Tyrone Brown along with Jamar Kegler, kind of the coaching duo here for the Indiana Lions. It certainly works, as well as an appearance from the Indiana Lionettes, a group of young cheerleaders here out supporting this team. In fact, Antoine Wynn, we were talking about this earlier on. This is a heck of a crowd here. This is probably the biggest home crowd that we've seen all season long.
Yes, I noticed that earlier. I was speaking of that. Yes, a lot of people here. And this community really supports this basketball team.
Of course, Tyrone Brown trying to expand the reach of this franchise here, as you see Alex Brown saying hi to his family right there behind the home bench there for Indiana. Of course, there is Tyrone Brown. Of course, it's been his mission to build this team and build the exposure to try and get more people out here to watch some fun basketball, but also at a cheap price. Back the other way comes Illinois. Can't convert, but right back there on the pass from Indiana goes Byron Jones.
That's a nice bucket by number 20.
Here's Kendrick Lee. Into the hands of Messer. Backdoor cut, and Carter can't convert.
And I'm impressed with the Lions defense.
Here's Darian Bean, and he steps along the baseline, another turnover.
The Lions defense is very relentless.
And just going on the baseline right there. Good camera work there by our ISC crew. And here's Whitney. Into the corner, Messer. Blocked from behind, and that'll be a foul. And so that'll be another one here on Slim Johnson. Just getting into the back right there. Of course, the proverbial over the back call, if you want to call it that, and puts Messer at the line for two.
And Messer's done a good job thus far as well.
Messer in his second season here with Indiana. Of course, he grew up in Clarksville, Tennessee, where he played his high school ball and also went on to play international college ball, but also played at Earlham here in Indiana.
Earlham was in Richmond, Indiana.
As in Richmond, Indiana.
And Clarksville, Tennessee, that's where Austin Peay University is located.
Indeed it is. Messer goes 1 of 2 at the line.
Slam.
And the finger roll comes up way short right there for Johnson.
Slam Johnson.
And so Indiana will stay on defense here, though, as it goes out of bounds. And trying to cut it down low underneath of Jones. It goes out of bounds and a turnover back to Indiana. Quick in transition comes Whitney. Kendrick Lee picks up his dribble. Scooty Walker gets it blocked right as he's shooting it.
That's a good block by Slim Johnson.
And here's Little trying to capitalize. Instead, Messer is playing some infuriating defense, and he forces another turnover. 2-on-1, back and forth, one too many passes,
too many.
But Carter tries to clean it up, and he does. Well, wasn't pretty,
yes,
but it converted.
Yeah, young basketball players, if you're listening, if you're on the fast break, always give the ball up early. If you give it up early, you get it back.
That is now 5 straight turnovers here, and now we're going to get a technical foul here on Illinois for delay of game. So that's a foul going the other way, and then the technical foul right there for the subsequent shot there on Darian Bean. So that's actually going to be 2 fouls on him. They are both personal fouls. So there you see Darian Bean showing a lot of frustration, but this will put Mike Carter at the line for an extra couple foul shots.
And Illinois is very frustrated. I mean, look at the score. So they're very frustrated, so they're kind of acting out.
Again, this is an Illinois team that is in their first year in ABA play. They are 0-5. They have yet to win a game. Meanwhile, Mike Carter misses the technical foul shot. So again, in ABA, you only get 1 technical foul shot, just like you see in the NBA. But it's technical foul and the basketball.
Yes, it is.
So Scooty Walker will take it out from the backcourt. 75 seconds left to go here in the first half. Walker, White to the whim, nothing there. Quick in transition comes Bean, and he lays it in.
He laid in there like Dr. J.
Of course, Dr. J being Julius Erving, who was actually instrumental in starting this league back in 1999.
All right.
Turnover.
3D, right? And a player down.
And it is a 3D rule, but it is a 5-on-4 advantage here for Indiana. And the turnover here. Meanwhile, the officials didn't quite see Slim Johnson there, ailing in pain right there, right at the top of the key on the Indiana side of the floor.
I think he may have taken an inadvertent elbow, I believe.
We'll take a look at the replay here.
Or did he? Oh,
just kind of fell awkwardly on the floor. That's a
hip pointer.
That's definitely either that or maybe even separating his shoulder there. Either way, we can only speculate. Looks like it's not that severe, but certainly a hard lick that he took to the floor right there.
And Slim Johnson, he's slight of build anyway, so you're making contact with the floor.
So with 35 seconds left here in the first quarter, Johnson still down on the floor as the Indiana Lions training staff comes out here to offer any assistance that they may be able to provide.
Yeah, they need Slim Johnson. He's one of their better players.
So Johnson going to be okay. Looks like he's certainly favoring his hip right there, definitely. Just a hard lick. He is having a hard time getting to the floor here. Again, taking a look at this excellent crowd that we've got on hand here inside of this Bosstick Gymnasium. Of course, a historic gymnasium in its own right, the former home of the Danville Warriors back when they had the high school here in downtown Danville. Meanwhile, we play on. Darian Bean with a hand in his face. Can't convert the tray. Here's Jones with a fresh shot clock. And the 3 doesn't fall again there for Damon Little,
nice
but
rebound.
Jones is there for the putback.
That was a nice rebound.
He has 8 points. Final 10 seconds here of the first half. And Indiana not going to take the foot off the gas.
Wow.
That's LaJuan Whitney. And that'll take us to the end of the first half. 80 points by Indiana after putting up 50 in the first quarter. LaJuan Whitney putting the exclamation point on that opening half there for Indiana. They lead the Illinois Skulls here in ABA action here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hello, Lyons friends and family. Are you looking for commercial problems with your heating, your air conditioning, your plumbing, your drain cleaning, your gas fireplace, or your refrigeration? Well, look no further. Call Mallory. He's open 24/7. The number is right there. If you have any problems or any needs, make sure you give him a call. He's a proud sponsor of the Indiana Lions. And we thank you, Mallory, for all of your help with any plumbing issues or any drain issues that we may have. So make sure you all give him a call and tell him that Gio from the Indiana Lions sent you. Lions, for the newest fashions that we have with the Indiana Lions. Are you looking for the jersey for your favorite Indiana Lions player? Well, come on down to the locker room here in Danville. They make all of the Lions clothing, and they have a lot of things to offer, from hoodies to jerseys to everything. Visit the locker room today.
Yeah, Kiwanis, it's a global organization. It's a not-for-profit. So Kiwanis is dedicated to changing the world one child at a time.
Yeah.
So here in Danville, we're business owners, we're teachers, we're parents, we're neighbors. We just come together and we provide events for kids.
So check out Kiwanis and come on down to Moki's every first and third Tuesday and change lives one child at a time. Hello, Lions family. It's me again, Gio. I am going to be your host this weekend. My parents will not be here this whole weekend. So I need you all to come out with me, and we need to root the Lions on and the Lions Den like you all have been doing since the beginning of the preseason. We have seen this gym packed out like we have not seen it before. That's because we're coming together and the family is growing. The people are hearing the word that the Indiana Lions are stomping out of the Lions Den and we're taking over. I mean, a lot of new people, and a lot of you have a lot of questions about how did the gym even get here, and so I got my buddy Sean to tell you.
My name is Sergeant Sean Rout. I work for the Danville, Indiana Police Department. We are here at the Danville Police Department and Town Hall.
All right, and how did the Town Hall, the Police Department, and the Lions Gym all become one?
Well, we consider the Lions family here. I work a lot of security at the games, and they're just part of our family.
Brewer Jim's at home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half. Throw it up for Tillman. Whoa, my goodness.
122.60 for Penn. What a swim. Six of them.
Halftime here inside of Bosstick Gynasium in Danville, Indiana, as the Indiana Lions all over the Illinois Skulls, 80-35. Here at halftime. Today's broadcast brought to you by Quebec Solutions. We offer hybrid coaching, combining sports medicine and sports performance, as well as health and wellness, massage, bodywork, and the mind game into a full circle magical experience for all clients of all ages and abilities. For more information, contact support at kksmagic.com or give us a call at 317-446-7971. Alongside Coach Antoine Wynn, I'm Kurt Darling here. It is a halftime to pretty much behold here right now. In fact, I can't tell you that we've seen a larger deficit this season than we have right here. 80-35 here as the Indiana Lions all over the Illinois Skulls here. Needless to say here, Coach, just been a dominating performance, but of course, they've just played so well. This is probably the best that we've seen Indiana play as a unit across all of it that we've seen all season long.
Yes, it has. They've playing hard on both ends, and it starts on the defensive end, and that's where they really have amped things up. Normally, when we watch them play, they kind of let the other team dictate the pace, but they're dictating the pace, making Illinois uncomfortable. So right now, I said 50, but they have a 45-point lead right now, so they're on good pace. So second half, if I was Coach Kegler, I'll come out, probably run my sets, and try to be more efficient and try to prepare for the game tomorrow as well.
You've had a plethora of players plus score here so far here today for the Indiana Lions. They are led by Dylan Ware, who has 12 points, as well as Jordan Heidelberg, who has 10 points. But needless to say, Dylan Ware back on December 17th, you asked for aggression from him. Well, you got it with him getting 29 points. Needless to say, he's kept that message in the back of his mind. 12 points, but also all 3 of his shots that were made in the first quarter all came on 3D rule slam dunks, which give him that 12 points along with one that he had in the second quarter.
Yeah, Dylan Ware is a tremendous basketball player. As long as he stays aggressive, good things will happen for him. He's a problem. He's a legit 6'8". He can put the ball on the deck. He can get his own shot off. So in the past, he's been settling too much for the mid-range game and three-point shots. So as long as he keeps on slashing to the rim and moving without the basketball, he's going to be successful.
It's also probably encouraging as well for Tyrone Brown and Jamar Kegler as well to see the fact that arguably your best player this season, Gerald Campbell, is out tonight here nursing some knee injuries, but needless to say, he'll be back for tomorrow's game against the Ohio Kings, which they'll be on the road down in Cincinnati. But needless to say, you've been able to at least be efficient all game long in this one without your big leader on the floor here tonight.
Yeah, the subs are doing a tremendous job for this basketball team, and you want your reserve players to do well, because when you need them at certain times of the basketball game, they're ready to go because they have the experience.
So that has certainly been something that will be paying dividends going into the back half of the season, which starts tonight. This is the 100th game in franchise history for the Indiana Lions, and they are certainly making the most of it here inside of Bosstick Gymnasium. We'll go ahead and take another quick timeout here as it's halftime between the Indiana Lions and the Illinois Skulls in ABA basketball action right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hello, Lions family. It's me, Gio, again. I just want to dedicate this whole weekend to all of the fans and the family and all of our sponsors as well that come along, and they're not just family. They actually come to the games and show that they're family. They volunteer to help. They're in the pictures. They're helping clean up. They're greeting people as they come in the door. And that's why we try to go out and reciprocate that same thing and come back and show everyone love. So can we all meet up at Dairy Queen this weekend and just show them some love? If you can't, that's fine. I know it is going to be cold. But if you want to come out, meet me over there. And the first 5 people that go over there per car, I will give them an Indiana Lions shirt. Just don't fight me over it. Let's just get some good ice cream, and I'll see you guys there. Oh, and shout out to Imagine Me Body also. Make sure you hit up Nurse T and check out the locker room where we get all of our sporting good apparel. This week's pregame show is brought to you by
2, 1.
Has the first dunk in the building from Orange. Goya waits, Waddell finishes and lays it in.
There is right now the play of the game.
Better finish. Good. We might see that on plays of the week. Great feed. The finish. Spin, win, 3, bury it in the lane. No, gun, yes, stop. Whoa, what a play. Flying in.
Please welcome one of our newest sponsors, City Barbecue. City Barbecue is out in Avon. They offer so many things like sides, ribs, sandwiches, desserts, and they have so many things that are made every day for you to come in and try them. He has so many good things that are freshly made. So if you're looking for a place where you and the family can go and have a good little dinner after the game, if you don't feel like cooking, come on down to City Barbecue and tell them the Indiana Lions sent you, and just try everything. Try everything on the menu. Just start from the top to the bottom and just let them know what you feel about it. Give them a nice review, like them on Facebook. And if you never tried it, you got to get there soon. Thanks, City Barbecue, for everything. They have drinks, guys. Remember, you can go in and get drinks, and they even have curbside assistance. So if you order it, you don't even have to go in. You could just send someone in to get the food, or you can go in and get it yourself. So stop on by again at City Barbecue. Thanks for being a sponsor.
And there you see Gerald Campbell in street clothes tonight, here to support his team as the Indiana Lions on top of the Illinois Skulls, 80-35 here on the ISC Sports Network. Of course, Gerald Campbell, you mentioned, and you see Alex Brown getting into the dance party here at halftime. A lot to celebrate here. He's got some moves. You gotta love it. Of course, Tyrone Brown wants an engaging team for the community. What better way to do it than that right there?
Yes.
You love to see it. Of course, Alex Brown having a good night so far. He only has 6 points, but he also has 3 blocks as well. But still, needless to say, you saw Gerald Campbell right there. But first, they've been doing pretty well without him. based off of these highlights right here, that's a big dunk right there by Dylan Ware, which would be one of 3 that he'd have. But needless to say, there's been a whole bunch of highlights that we can look at here for this first half. That was Phil Bosstick getting into the scorer's column. He has 8 points tonight. And then this was a heck of a play right here.
Yes, off the window, yes.
See Alex Brown playing the game of basketball as well as he dances. Heidelberg has certainly been deadly from behind the arc as well. He has 10 points. And there's that aggression that you wanted from Dylan Ware.
Yes, off the vertical.
Times 3. Of course, that would be on a 3D rule as well. And here is Mike Pugh again on the handoff to Dylan Ware once again.
Everything.
You wanted fireworks from Mike Pugh tonight. He certainly has given them as well. And of course, Mike Carter coming off of the bench, getting some meaningful minutes. Giving a little bit of a taunt right there to the sideline. Yeah. As another alley-oop right there by Alex Brown. He has certainly been effective. Living above the rim. Of course, that's where you want him down low. He's really been working on his post play.
Yes.
As case in point right there. And we'll get a little shimmy and shake right there on the sideline.
Yeah, Alex Brown's having fun, isn't he?
Of course, all of us are having fun right here tonight. You know, I made the comment while we were on break about how blowouts aren't usually fun to call. That has been quite the opposite here with this one. 80-35 your score here. Of course, the Lions adding to the 100 years of history inside of this building. You see the Danville Warriors as well as many other teams that have played here inside this historic gymnasium here in Danville, Indiana. We'll go ahead and take another final timeout for halftime. When we come back, the second half gets underway here as the Indiana Lions continue to try and dominate in this one here on the ISC Sports Network.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score.
Hey Lions fans, it's Gio with Indiana Lions coming to talk about Knockouts haircuts for men out in Avon. They specialize in getting you right on your haircuts, on your linings, your shaves, your face, your touch-ups, whatever it is that you need to get done. They are the best to do it. They make sure they get us right before every game, every photo shoot. They always have us picture ready. And so we just want to give them a shout out for being a sponsor to the Indiana Lions. And Lions family, again, if you need a good haircut or a good trimming, a nice shave, they even wash your hair. That was something I didn't even know of. So just go and check them out and tell them Gio sent you, or James, whichever name you want to use. Just go on down and check out Knockouts Haircuts for Men and let them wow you with the experience there. They even have a cooler with drinks in it.
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. That's the finish. You get a layup taken and an and one. Fly ball.
Well, the fans get an autographed merchant with some free merchandise as well from the players themselves. Of course, that's the lady who was dancing quite well there with Alex Brown there at halftime. Welcome back inside of Bosstick Gymnasium here on the ISC Sports Network. Today's game brought to you by Priority Tax Services, where we maximize your refund and you could receive up to $6,000 cash advance today. Also, Taxes on the Go, where we'll be ensuring that you get your maximum refund for less. For more information, shoot us an email at dbrown@prioritytaxservices.org or give us a call at 317-500-1490. Alongside Antoine Wynn, I'm Kurt Darling. Well, Coach, needless to say, we'll be seeing a lot of reserves here in the second half, but seems to me, looks like the starters are suiting up to start this second half.
Yes, you need to be careful with that as well. You don't want to get anybody hurt. So I would probably play them, I would say, maybe half this quarter and get them out of the basketball game because you have a big contest tomorrow in Cincinnati.
Certainly want to get as much rest as you possibly can. Of course, the Indiana Lions taking on the Ohio Kings, which is a team that they beat earlier this season right here inside of Bosstick Arena. That was a 94-90 game. So that just goes to show you how contested it actually was. Of course, Jordan Heidelberg going to try and bring that stroke tomorrow night. He adds another three-pointer to his repertoire here tonight. He has 13 points.
And I've never seen him this aggressive either on the offensive end.
Speaking of aggression, there come the Skulls back the other way. Meanwhile, Ware comes away with the rebound off the missed shot. Inside to Brown. Ware loads up from deep. Banks it home and gets the roll as well.
Wow, that was nice.
Dylan Ware has done it all now tonight. He has 15.
7 seconds. Oh, he got it across.
Just barely got it across the timeline there to the Skulls. But it's a pass picked up right by Ware. He hits his man in stride. Try it again! Alex Brown once again off of the backboard dime from T. Williams.
Man, everything is falling for the Lions today.
Ware nearly comes away with a steal. And a long three-pointer is short there from Illinois. Here's Bosstick. Pushing it ahead from the right side. And that's an easy one. He now has 10 points. He is the third different player now from Indiana to be in double figures. Three-pointer again from Illinois, and that falls.
The Lions are still playing at a fast pace that I like.
Here's Brown with a hand in his face.
That's too far away.
Just a little bit too short there. Brown, on the baseline jumper.
Brown has to command his spot on the block.
Going along the baseline, here are the Skulls again. And the tap in is true there for Bean. Heidelberg. Too strong on that one. Again, Indiana has a season-high scoring of 137 points in a win against Chi-Town back on December 10th.
Go out of bounds.
And so far, it looks like Indiana might be approaching that season high here tonight if they keep up this effort.
They have a good chance at 90 points right now.
Bosstick between him and Heidelberg. And now T. Williams has not made a field goal here tonight. He can change that right here, and he does. That gives him 4 points. He only had 2 made free throws in the first quarter, and he went scoreless in the second quarter after that. And a block up top. They're going to get goaltending. Either that or a foul. We'll see what they call here.
To me, that was a bad business decision for him.
And that's going to be a foul instead.
He tried to cram it on a 7-footer.
So that'll be Alex Brown's first foul of the ball game, going for the swat right there. That will put Bean here at the line for the second time tonight. Kind of a line drive shot right there from the charity stripe. Again, Darian Bean, so far one of the leading scorers here for Illinois tonight. And he misses the second one.
Look at Brown showing some guard skills.
Brown going back the other way to Bosstick, too strong. Brown gets his own rebound though and still can't go at point blank range. But it's touched out of bounds there by Illinois, and it'll stay here with Indiana. You were right, Alex Brown.
Yeah, I like to see Alex gather himself and just go up with 2 hands and dunk the basketball.
It's not too often you see a 6'8" point guard.
Right.
Bosstick off of the inbound from Heidelberg. That's now 12 points for Bosstick, approaching a season high.
Oh, it's almost over and back.
Very, very close. As Bean again can't convert. And Ware loses the handle off of the rebound, and it'll stay here with Illinois. So the turnovers have definitely been a rarity here for Indiana, given how the game has flowed.
3D rule.
And now it's a 3D rule in effect here for Illinois. which has been a rarity for them in this ball game. So Darian Bean, with the 3D rule in mind, gets the shot up and can't go. Heidelberg tries a cross-court pass and a rare turnover again here from Indiana.
That's a dangerous pass, cross-court.
And it'll go out of bounds again.
So that last possession that the Lions had in that transition, Heidelberg as a point guard, he has to put people in the right positions. He didn't have a shooter on the right side. And that's why he went to the left side. He needs to have one on his right side, the closest to him.
That'll be an offensive foul there on T. Williams. He puts an elbow into the chest of one of the Illinois players, as we'll see a couple substitutions here. But first, a timeout here at the under 8 media timeout. 94-40. Indiana Lions on top of Illinois here on the ISC Sports Network.
I had a love for cookies the whole time, a love for baking actually, growing up, and it had always been a dream of mine. And I got sick and at my old job and had to quit, and then ended up getting a little bit better, was able to get another job, but then COVID hit and lost my job again. And at that point, my kids and my husband were like, you need to just do this, you know. So we took a chance.
And out of that, Mama Shell's was born. And I can personally say that I have had the cookies and they are amazing. If you haven't tried them, we offer them at the gym. Thank you, Mama Shell's, for being a sponsor for the Indiana Lions.
Just under 8 minutes to go left here in the third quarter. Indiana still well on top of the Illinois Skulls. Of course, some big shots from Jordan Heidelberg to get things going here in this quarter. And then another oop off the glass, just like we saw in the first half between Brown and T. Williams. Those have been some big catalysts here on this offensive end here for Indiana. Of course, this is a game that doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things here for Indiana. Of course, if they do win this game, this will put them into third place in the Midwest region, which, of course, pays all the dividends that they can when it comes to figuring out who will take part in the field of 64 in the postseason later on.
Nice steal by Ware.
3D rule in effect here for Indiana. And this time, T. Williams gets some help from Ware. And now back to Heidelberg. 10 seconds to shoot here for the Lions. Bosstick leaves it underneath. Wide open now, a shot just short there from Dylan Ware. And so a rare first shot clock violation that we've seen here today from Indiana.
As the point guard, Heidelberg has to do a better job. He missed Brown there. Brown had a mismatch. Brown was begging for the basketball. He didn't see him. As a point guard, you have to look down at your big man first.
Cross-court pass sails way over the head there of Devontae Thomas. And it goes back into the hands of Indiana.
Look like we got some subs coming in for the Lions.
And again, there's Tyrone Brown almost on the receiving end right there, ducking in cover. Of course, we were talking to him before the game. He used to play.
Yeah.
Doesn't really play anymore. No, he's getting out of the way.
So got a whole 5 coming in.
So we've got a hockey line change here for Indiana, which includes Eric Messer along with Mike Carter, Kendrick Lee, Scooty Walker, and Mike Pugh.
If I was a betting man, I would say Dylan Ware and Brown would not return.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
They shouldn't anyway.
Mike Carter coming in on help side and almost forces a turnover. Instead, it's out on Indiana, so it'll stay here with Illinois.
I love Mike Carter's energy.
Bean takes the inbound, dumps it underneath, and
nice.
Thomas hits.
Nice pass.
Long pass. Why not to Mike Carter?
Nice pass, nice catch, and nice finish by Carter.
He now has 8 points. Skulls back the other way. And a foul coming up here on Indiana. And they're going to ding Scooty Walker here with his second. So 6:23 left to go here. Indiana still well in control of this ball game. Of course, again, as we mentioned numerous times tonight, getting ready for a road game against the Ohio Kings tomorrow night, where they will be traveling all the way down to Cincinnati to take on the Kings. Again, that's a team they beat earlier on here inside of Bosstick Gymnasium. But that also kicks off a stretch for Indiana where they'll be playing 4 of their next 5 games on the road. And a turnover in transition. Mike Pugh a little bit too strong for Kendrick Lee.
The Illinois Skulls, they hail from Marion, Illinois.
Of course, an up-and-coming basketball program there in Illinois. In fact, their mission statement is to mentor and build leadership through basketball. Of course, it's been kind of a club mentorship program that have gotten an ABA basketball team put together here for the first time here this season. 3D rule in effect again here for Indiana. Kendrick Lee can't convert, but we're going to have an extra foul shot here for whoever will be taking them. Looks like it'll be Lee going to the line.
In essence, Illinois is an expansion team, so to speak. So it takes a time to build a program or build a team.
So Kendrick Lee getting tapped on the arm there by Devontae Thomas. And so again, Lee will have 3 foul shots here because of the 3D rule in effect. He makes the first one. And he hits that one. So here's the bonus free throw.
So they're 2 points away from a century mark.
And now make it 1 point from a hundo. Can't say that I've ever seen a team score 100 points into a third quarter.
Yes, me neither.
As Thomas gets the offensive rebound, nothing there. And here comes Kendrick Lee.
Give it up.
Up top now to Walker. Reverse doesn't fall. And they're going to get a foul before the putback goes in there for Mike Pugh.
As a coach, I love to see players give the basketball up early.
So the shot there from Pugh won't count. Instead, it will be Scooty Walker at the line. In fact, he is the only player here so far today for Indiana who has not scored a point. So he can try and remedy that right here.
Here it is.
Oh, and it just so close.
I hope I didn't jinx the man.
Rims in and out. Of course, the broadcaster's jinx has to hit at least somebody during a broadcast. And there it is. So he's still scoreless on the night, but Pugh has an offensive rebound. And no call on the foul, on the potential foul there on the shot.
I think he got fouled on the wrist.
But we play on. And right down the lane goes Illinois. Nothing there. Pugh comes away with it. He barely comes away with that one there, and he pushes it ahead to Lee. Messer. And he hits.
All right. 101.
We are at the century mark here with 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And a turnover once again. Walker ahead to Pugh. And he lays it in. Mike Pugh now has a quiet 11 points off the bench.
Yeah, off the bench. You're right.
4th different player in double figures tonight for Indiana. Inside. And Bean connects.
That's a nice finish.
So 4.5 minutes left to go. We still have another quarter to play, as this one has gotten well out of hand in favor of Indiana. Eric Messer gets his 8th point, rather his 10th point. Now make it 5 different players for Indiana in double figures.
That's a nice pass from Pugh. Good things happen when you move without the ball. Nice putback.
Byron Jones on the putback off the missed long 2-pointer from Bean.
Great finish by Jones.
Pugh on the cut to Walker. And he can't finish. Walker still can't get that elusive first point. Long ball from Thomas rattles in and out.
Like a knuckleball from Thomas.
And so with this total here of 105 points for Indiana, this is their 4th straight game that they have hit the century mark in scoring.
Nice layup.
And Walker still can't connect. And Jones back the other way on a finger roll.
It's a nice basket by number 20, Jones.
Approaching the 3-minute mark, here's Pugh, blocked from behind. And losing the handle, it goes back to Indiana. And we are at the under 4 media timeout. 50 points for Illinois, but double that for Indiana as they have the century mark here with 3:01 left to go in the third here on the ISC Sports Network.
For all of your eyelash and eyebrow care, visit Decalash in Plainfield now and book your appointment today.
Has it, leaps ahead, still on his feet. Stevens lunges. Are you kidding me? Champions of Marion County. Unbelievable. Touchdown. Living up to that last day. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. So that was going to be a highlight reel. Oh, baby. Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
Hello, Lyons friends and family. Are you looking for commercial problems with your heating, your air conditioning, your plumbing, your drain cleaning, your gas fireplace, or your refrigeration? Well, look no further. Call Maury. He's open 24/7. The number is right there. If you have any problems or any needs, make sure you give him a call. He's a proud sponsor of the Indiana Lions. And we thank you, Maury, for all of your help with any plumbing issues or any drain issues that we may have. So make sure you all give him a call and tell him that Gio from the Indiana Lions sent you.
There you see the Illinois Skulls certainly looking dejected here in this one as they're down 105-50 here to the Indiana Lions, who have certainly made the most of this contest here. You see Mike Pugh getting the two-step in right there. 3 minutes and some change left to go here. He's certainly have a fun night tonight, as well as have these fans. Alongside Antoine Wynn, I'm Kurt Darling. Still with 15 minutes in the full game left to play here. Of course, there's certainly a lot that Indiana can work on, getting these reserves some meaningful minutes, which they have certainly done a lot of here tonight. And Walker can't get a shot to fall still, but he'll have a net chance again to go to the free throw line.
Yes, I was speaking earlier. I would like to see them run some sets because, again, you have to prepare for tomorrow as well. See, right now, they're kind of freelancing right now, but when you get in the half-court sets, you have to run some plays.
Of course, the Lions expecting to have Gerald Campbell back in the lineup here for tomorrow night. He is a somewhat healthy scratch here tonight as Scooty Walker, again, can't get the shot to fall through the iron. And finally gets it to go. So now that makes every player that has played tonight for Indiana is in the scorer's column.
That's rare.
In fact, every player on the roster, sans Gerald Campbell, has played in this ballgame. 3D rule in effect here for Indiana. Mike Pugh can't convert. Carter tries to get the putback, but he tips out of bounds, and it goes back to Illinois.
You were speaking of Campbell earlier. Campbell basically gets the offense started. He's the one who controls it. Got a steal, 3D.
And it falls for Kendrick Lee, and it looks like he may get an and one as well. No, actually, it's a 3D rule in favor of Illinois here.
Okay.
And actually, so that is a 3D rule bucket for Kendrick Lee, actually, and now it's regular rules here for Illinois. That was a very quick
it was quick
sequence of events.
He got a steal right back there.
He did. So that's a 3-point bucket for Kendrick Lee. He's now the third different player to score on the 3D rule here for Indiana today. Of course, Indiana now just 28 points away from hitting their season high on a single game scoring. Again, that came back on December 10th against Chi-Town, where they scored 137 points. Offensive foul here, which probably would have resulted in a subsequent shot clock violation, whichever way you call it. It's a turnover back to Indiana.
I'm glad to see number 6, Slim Johnson, back in the basketball game. I was concerned about him earlier.
Say, it looked like we were thinking he may have to go to the hospital because of the way he was walking with an injured hip.
Yes.
But he's back in, and now there's Walker heating up from behind the arc.
But when you have youth like Mr. Slim Johnson, you can come up like that.
Of course, Darian Bean, he has been a firecracker here for Illinois in their respects as well. He's the leading scorer here tonight so far.
Well, I hope Slim Johnson, after the game, applies ice on whatever area he hurt. I believe it was his hip.
Certainly a little more than a soft tissue injury, you could certainly say right there, right on the hip.
Yeah, he'll feel it tomorrow, trust me.
Approaching the 90-second mark here of this third quarter. And again, Indiana with that suffocating defense. And it forces a turnover. And actually, they're going to say that was off of Eric Messer, so it'll stay here with Illinois. But either way, you mentioned it while we were at break during halftime there, Coach, is the fact that you certainly love to see defense turned into offense. And Indiana has really experimented with that tonight.
Yes, that's how I've always played. I've never concentrated on the offensive end. My defense is my offense.
There's Bean with some offense of his own right there for Skulls.
If you think like that, you'll always be successful.
Lawan Whitney pulling up along the baseline. And another turnover in transition. Kendrick Lee dumps it off to Whitney. Contested, can't get it to go.
That was a nice contest by Slim Johnson.
And Bean
nice.
With a nice fake down low. He ran into his own screen there by Thomas. And a dump off underneath. Bean off of the steal.
He has some fancy moves going on. Under a minute.
Certainly some talent to work with here for Illinois in building this program. Of course, Indiana, they have a lot more experience to work with here, as we'll see Alex Brown check back into the ball game. We certainly didn't expect to see him at all again here today.
That's really surprising.
Maybe keeping him warm just a little bit. You certainly like to keep the momentum going.
Yes.
Of course, they say in baseball, you don't mess with a hot streak.
Yes.
Here's Pugh up top now to Whitney. And his three ball doesn't connect, but an over-the-top dunk there by Alex Brown.
Oh, my.
He has been his own highlight reel tonight.
Wow.
Maybe that's why you put him back in.
Wow. It's a replay.
Just extending over Slim Johnson.
He put Slim Johnson on a poster.
And he gets the and one as well. So just add insult to injury. He connects the and one free throw.
Wow.
Loading up from behind the arc that time is Little. And a steal by Messer. Here's Lee. And he'll take it himself and draw the foul. And it looks like he got a little bit of a shot there as well as he went up for that one. And I can only assume that he probably got hit somewhere that really doesn't feel good.
They say you got hit down south.
Just however we can describe it in a PG manner.
Yeah.
Either way, he's going to go to the line here for two.
It'll come back to him here in a little bit.
So with 2.8 seconds left here in the third, we're just going to keep adding points here in a game that Illinois is certainly going to want to forget. In fact, taking a look here at this one compared to the rest of the games they've played, this is the largest deficit that they have faced all season long. Their largest deficit of defeat was a lot more against Music City back to start the season. We go to one more quarter as the Indiana Lions roughing the Illinois Skulls here on the ISC Sports Network.
For the newest fashions that we have with the Indiana Lions, are you looking for the jersey for your favorite Indiana Lions player? Well, come on down to the locker room here in Danville. They make all of the Lions clothing, and they have a lot of things to offer, from hoodies to jerseys to everything. Just visit the locker room today.
Yeah, Kiwanis, it's a global organization. It's a not-for-profit. So Kiwanis is dedicated to changing the world one child at a time.
Yeah.
So here in Danville, we're business owners, we're teachers, we're parents, we're neighbors, we just come together and we provide events for kids.
So check out Kiwanis and come on down to Moki's every first and third Tuesday and change lives one child at a time.
Take a look at this play here by Illinois. As you see, Darian Bean putting his team on his back here tonight. He has 18 points, but then this powerful dunk there by Alex Brown. That's his fourth one tonight. He has certainly had a heck of a game. Of course, one thing I mentioned before the game here, Antoine Wynn, is the fact that all season long, Alex Brown has had braids in his hair. Maybe
Yes.
the magic is in the fro this time.
Yeah.
Kind of channeling his inner Darnell Hillman from the ABA Indiana Pacers.
Yes, a little Julius Erving as well.
Also of former ABA lore. So alongside Antoine Wynn, I'm Kurt Darling. Fourth and final quarter here of a game that has been all Indiana from start to finish, as you might be able to deduct by yourself based off the score here, as Slim Johnson misses a long three-pointer. Putback doesn't go, and rebound comes to Alex Brown.
Yeah, Slim Johnson's had a rough day today on both sides.
Again, the season high scoring here for Indiana is 137 points. They are certainly approaching that. And that, Coach Wynn, is why you like to see Alex Brown down low whenever you can.
Absolutely. That's not his basketball game.
You hear the defense chants from the faithful crowd. It has certainly been a good defensive effort tonight from Indiana. Meanwhile, Lawan Whitney with numbers. Brown, why not another one?
That was nice passing, nice finish by Alex Brown.
13 points for Alex Brown. Three ball on the way again, this time from Jamal Gray. Doesn't go. It bounces out of bounds, and it'll stay here with Indiana. So again, Alex Brown had a double-double performance the last time we were inside this gymnasium.
Yes.
And he's certainly right up there with that again. He is, of course, the sixth different player for Indiana to be in double figures. Here's Pugh, another one of those players in double figures, trying to add to his total, coming off the bench in a rare form tonight.
What was called?
Looks like it was an offensive foul, maybe. Either way, it's a turnover back to Illinois. Here's Slim Johnson. Gingerly but effectively going right to the rim there in spite of his bum hip. Looks like he was able to rub it out a little bit and get back into this one. So this will put Johnson back at the foul stripe. Again, he sat for the much of the second quarter and all of the third quarter before coming back in here. He had 6 points in the first quarter. Now trying to make it 7. Substitution here, and there we see Jordan Heidelberg check back in. Another one of the regular starters here for Indiana, playing some late minutes in this one.
Yeah. Sometimes that can be dangerous.
So this game will end a 3-game road streak here for Illinois. As a shot doesn't fall there for Bean. They'll go back home to take on the Clarksville Phoenix on January 21st after this game is done. Whitney gets harassed there at the rim. And another turnover in transition, though, by Illinois.
He caught an offensive foul on one. I think elbowed Pugh.
So that'll be Bean picking up his 4th. And another rule that we look for here in the ABA as we see Dylan Ware check back in. This time it'll be for Alex Brown. But another rule that we see here is that when it comes to fouling out, well, there is no fouling out here in the ABA. Instead, if you go past the 6-foul threshold, that means the foul, as you see Ware unable to convert a dunk right there, but that means the foul shots that are subsequent to that will be worth 1 more. So you get an extra foul shot for every foul that you commit after 6.
Illinois was looking for a goaltending on Dylan Ware, but they don't understand its FIBA rules.
Again, that was a legal play there by Dylan Ware.
Yes.
You can touch the ball when it is above the cylinder.
Oh, man.
Behind the back, and a three-pointer falls right there for Damon Little. Making his mark on this ball game. Shot doesn't fall here again.
Oh, man, he's kind of crafty.
Nice ball movement here on Eric Messer, and a nice feed inside. Nice one in there by Gray off the assist from Little. That was a heck of a play.
Yeah, Little's got that ball on the string.
Step back, and that is a three-pointer, just barely, but it falls. There for Lawan Whitney. Spin move there. Nothing doing for Bean, but he has to get a second effort.
They've actually hit 3 baskets in a row.
So the Skulls kind of getting some life here and some play down the stretch here as Pugh can't convert. That last shot there by Lawan Whitney, the three-pointer, now gives him 11 points. So that's 7 players in double figures scoring for Indiana.
Wow. It's unheard of.
Bean off the front of the iron. And it goes out of bounds, and it'll go back to the Indiana Lions. So again, Indiana will go up against the Ohio Kings here tomorrow night. They go on the road to Cincinnati, and that'll be a very big game as far as conference standings are concerned. Of course, the Kings and the Lions don't play in the same conference. As we take a look at this replay here. Behind the back, and that was a 2-pointer there from Little. He was just inside the arc, but still an effective play. And then dropping dimes as well.
Yeah, that shot he hit, that's something we should possibly send in to ESPN.
There's a few plays that I think we could do that for here tonight.
Oh yeah, that dunk by Brown.
Which one?
Which one? the one he had with Slim Johnson.
Yeah.
They had one.
Lawan Whitney makes both foul shots. Inside. And the dime again goes to Gray.
Has number 8 been out there the whole time?
Pretty much. And here's Heidelberg. Euro steps outside. 3 on the way from Messer. And the offensive board comes to Whitney, it appears, and they're going to get an offensive foul here on Whitney.
That was a good call. He did push off.
That'll be Whitney's second. And here we see Phil Bessick. Now, Phil Bessick is not a regular starter. He, of course, is getting the start tonight in substitution for Gerald Campbell. So he's getting some meaningful minutes as well in a starting role here tonight. Timeout on the floor. Heck of a game here for Alex Brown. He's been leading the way here for Indiana as they are pummeling Illinois here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hello, Lions family. It's me again, Gio. I am going to be your host this weekend. My parents will not be here this whole weekend. So I need you all to come out with me, and we need to root the Lions on and the Lions Den like you all have been doing since the beginning of the preseason. We have seen this gym packed out like we have not seen it before. That's because we're coming together and the family is growing. The people are hearing the word that the Indiana Lions are stomping out of the Lions Den and we're taking over. I mean, a lot of new people, and a lot of you have a lot of questions about how did the gym even get here. And so I got my buddy Sean to tell you.
My name is Sergeant Sean Rout. I work for the Danville, Indiana Police Department. We are here at the Danville Police Department and Town Hall.
All right, and how did the Town Hall, the Police Department, and the Lions Gym all become one?
Well, we consider the Lions family here. I work a lot of security at the games, and they're just part of our family.
Tonight's game brought to you by Deca Lash, where we offer the following lash extension styles: True Express, Classic, Hybrid, True Volume, or Mega Volume. Please visit us at 2685 East Main Street in Suite 108 in Plainfield, or you can call to book your appointment at 317-667-0681. Alongside Antoine Wynn, I'm Kurt Darling. It's been a dominating performance. Of course, Alex Brown been doing a lot of dancing tonight. He certainly has a lot to dance about.
Yes, he does. He's played a tremendous basketball game.
There you see the traditional red, white, and blue basketball in homage to the original ABA.
That was a close-up shot of longtime official Ray Beverly.
There's Ray Beverly and Tracy Harris on a 3D rule there for Indiana. Lawan Whitney. And a turnover here back to Illinois. I'd like to give a special shout out to our ISC crew working for tonight's game. Of course, Sean Walker, Jordan Shue, and Elijah Mash in the truck, as well as our camera operators Chase Eisnagel, Greg Sharton, and Richard Feely. Doing an excellent job as always tonight, guys. Down low and convert there by Slim Johnson.
I'm looking at the Lions players out here. That's Dylan Ware's site.
And Dylan Ware has been not heard of a lot here in this second half, but whenever he is heard of, he certainly makes a lot of noise as he'll go to the line. Of course, now's as good a time as any to work on free throw shooting. Again, talking to coach and owner Tyrone Brown earlier today, this is something that he struggled with all season long.
He's got a nice stroke and a nice follow through. I think it's more mental for him.
It's now 16 points for the Danville native, and make it second 17. 3 of 4 at the charity stripe here today. Here is Ware. Going over the top. They're going to call a carrying violation. Or rather, was it over and back or carrying? I couldn't quite see.
It actually was like a travel to me, but I don't know what he called. It was a violation.
Either way, it's a turnover and a 3D rule here for Indiana.
Yes.
Heidelberg. 9 on 9. Heidelberg with the big tray in contention. What a play there by the little man.
Wow.
That's a 4-point play, and going for an alley-oop. Can't quite connect there is Scooty Walker, and he is laughing that one off right there.
I don't think the alley-oop pass was really high enough.
The tray doesn't fall there for Damon Little. How about this clutch shot here from Jordan Heidelberg? From NBA range on a 3D rule, that is worth 4.
And their season high is 141.
137 is their season high. They are 5 points shy of that.
I think it may be obtainable.
Heidelberg stepping back again, and he has ice water in his veins.
Wow. I've never seen him
Jordan Heidelberg
play this well offensively.
He now has 20 points. That is a new season high for him. So back-to-back offensive rebounds here for Jamal Gray. Keeps the possession alive here for Illinois. And there's Little.
Illinois is playing hard. They're doing the best they can.
We're going to get another one here from Heidelberg.
Yes, I can tell. He's feeling it.
Not a tray this time.
Maybe he was too close.
Scooting it up now is Illinois.
I mean, they're pressing them the whole game.
Indiana's been working on their defense all game long. And now we have a stoppage in play where don't see any subs expected to come in here. Well, it looks like we may see Mike Carter check back in here.
He'll probably come in for Dylan Ware.
And indeed, that is the case.
Yes.
So
as a coach, you'll want to take a chance.
Dylan Ware likely done for the game here. He finishes with 17 points. Another solid effort for him here inside of Bosstick Gymnasium. Here's Walker down the lane. He'll go to the line.
Got another sub coming in, I think.
Can't quite see who it is.
Maybe not.
And either way, Walker back to the line here for the third time today.
Because Heidelberger's a starter, isn't he? No.
Heidelberg?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
He was one of the 5 starters here, so he and Bosstick are the only 2 starters still on the floor here tonight.
Okay. Yeah, Heidelberger's normally not this offensive-minded. Normally a facilitator.
Meanwhile, Walker makes both foul shots, and Indiana now ties their season high on scoring in a single game. Loose ball, forced up, taken by Illinois. Through the legs, Jones can't finish. Heidelberg pulls up again. He's off the mark that time, and Bosstick comes away with the rebound.
Slim's hurt again.
And now Slim Johnson is hurt back on the other end of the floor. And he's holding that hip that he injured earlier in the ball game. Inside comes Illinois. Loose ball. Taken again. Deep 3. Nothing there.
They need to get Slim Johnson out of the basketball game.
Finally, we have a stoppage in play here. Looks like we are going to get Slim Johnson out of the ball game. At least it appears anyway. He's actually walking back to the other end of the floor, it looks like, and now he comes out of the ball game.
Yes.
And so we'll see Devontae Thomas check back in.
Yeah, he's one of their better players. Got to have him ready for the next basketball game.
We're in the final 4 minutes, and it looks like they're going to take the under 4 timeout right here. It is a 137-67 advantage here for the Indiana Lions as we go to a final break here in gameplay. Back in a moment here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hello, Lions family. It's me again, Gio. I am going to be your host this weekend. My parents will not be here this whole weekend. So I need you all to come out with me, and we need to root the Lions on and the Lions Den like you all have been doing since the beginning of the preseason. We have seen this gym packed out like we have not seen it before. That's because we're coming together and the family is growing. The people are hearing the word that the Indiana Lions are stomping out of the Lions Den and we're taking over. I mean, a lot of new people, and a lot of you have a lot of questions about how did the gym even get here, and so I got my buddy Sean to tell you.
My name is Sergeant Sean Rout. I work for the Danville, Indiana Police Department. We are here at the Danville Police Department and Town Hall.
All right, and how did the Town Hall, the Police Department, and the Lions Gym all become one?
Well, we consider the Lions family here. I work a lot of security at the games, and they're just part of our family.
Certainly been a valiant effort, however they can manage here from Illinois Skulls as you see them speaking amongst themselves. Down by a bunch here to the Indiana Lions, 137-67, alongside Antoine Wynn. I'm Kurt Darling here as we enter the final 4 minutes of this ball game here. Needless to say here, Coach, you can't ask for a better effort, especially ahead of a big matchup against Ohio here coming up tomorrow.
Yes, the Lions are playing very well. I mean, I like their energy. The energy's been the same from beginning to currently right now. They haven't slowed down not once. Everybody's playing with intensity right now.
Of course, it's been an effort mostly by the reserve players here for the Lions tonight. as Whitney can't come up with the shot. And Mike Carter tries to get the rebound. Instead, he pushes it out of play.
The play of the Lions is contagious. Everybody's playing the same way.
Again, the next basket will give the Indiana Lions a new season high, scoring in a single game. No look pass, tries to get it down low to Thomas, and another turnover. Here's Messer, and he just dribbles off the foot of the Skulls defender, and back the other way they go.
That was number 8 on the layup. That's nice.
Walker.
It's for the season
looking
high.
for his shot, and he can't quite get that one to go. So Indiana has actually gone on a scoring drought here over the last 2 minutes or so. In the corner, Jones. Too long on that one. Ahead to Whitney. Puts it up and is fouled. So that'll put Whitney back at the line for the second time here tonight. Again, this is to give Indiana the new season high on the year.
The game tomorrow is versus the Ohio Kings, correct?
It is indeed. And Whitney misses the first one. So again, that doesn't have any implications as far as inter-region play. Of course, the Ohio Kings playing in the North Central Conference, but needless to say, every win will count here as far as overall record in the Midwest region here for Indiana when it comes to deciding who will take part in the postseason tournament.
So we have a new season high, correct?
That is indeed, as Whitney makes the second foul shot. 138 points. Indiana has not scored that many points at all this season until here tonight.
It helps when you have a 50-point first quarter.
And to put it in perspective as well, Indiana coming off a win against the Ohio Bruins, which was 136 to 131.
Wow.
So they also have really been turning on the offensive pressure here over the last few games. Messer comes away with the steal. Ahead to Scooty Walker. He goes behind the back, weasels his way inside, and he'll get the and one.
Nice finish and great call.
That's now 14 points. Or rather, not 14 points for LaJuan Whitney, excuse me. I gave that one to Whitney. It's actually Scooty Walker inside. But on the topic of LaJuan Whitney, he's now the 8th different player to score in double figures. Walker comes away with it. Step back with time, and no 3D rule there. But instead, coming back the other way was Messer, and he couldn't get that one to go. Inside the final 2 minutes, as Indiana looks to get back above 500 for the first time this season with a win here today. Nice take inside by T. Williams.
I'm impressed with the passing. The Lions today, they're sharing the basketball.
Walker, wide open for three. Nothing there on the 3D rule.
When you share the basketball, good things happen.
Certainly going to want to see this coming up tomorrow night. Of course, it's always tough playing a game and then turning right around and going on the road.
Call it back-to-back games.
Pushing ahead again, T. Williams. He now has 8 points.
Yeah.
So both teams kind of winding down here as we're letting this one wind down in our own right. It has been an entertaining game here, to say the least, as we'll get one final timeout called here by Indiana to make up some substitutions, I believe, here at the minute 9 mark. So while we have a moment, this timeout brought to you by Priority Tax Services. Be sure to maximize your refund with Priority Tax Services and receive up to $6,000 cash advance today with taxes on the go as well, where we'll be ensuring that you get your maximum refund for less. For more information, visit thewealthconnect.com/Deborah Brown or give us a call at 317-500-1490. Certainly have a couple fans take some free throws during these stoppages in play. And that young lady right there made her shot and gets some free merch as well.
Yeah, I love the way Tyrone Brown gets the fans involved with the basketball game. It gets everyone involved and makes the atmosphere exciting.
Again, this has probably been the best crowd that we have seen on hand inside of Bosstick Gynasium all season long. Shows you how this team is growing in popularity here. Of course, they have reason to be popular, having won a North Central Region championship back in 2021 with a handful of players on this team currently that were on that championship squad. And the shot falls there for Illinois. So Indiana, again, shot clock still in play here as you see T. Williams get his 10th point. That's now 9 players in double figure scoring for Indiana.
The Lions are still playing full court defense. They have not let off yet.
Again, a chance to work on some things as time starts to tick down. And another turnover here by Illinois. They'll actually say that was off of Indiana. So again, the Indiana Lions going to be playing their next 5 games mostly on the road. They only have one more home game in that stretch, which will be against the Beaver County Indians. Other than that,
2-point basket by number 33, Devontae Thomas.
And Thomas gets another point there, but on the other end, there'll be an and one coming up here for Phil Bosstick. Of course, you have that next 5-game stretch where 4 of them will be on the road.